Jillian, President Biden is once again extending the pause on student loan payments. This is in response to an appeals court blocking his plan to forgive up to $20,000 in debt per borrower. The Wall Street Journal editorial board reacting, calling student loans the president's, quote, eternal emergency. Joining me now, Wall Street Journal assistant editor James Freeman. James, welcome.
Thanks. Good to be here, Mike.
So President Biden was pretty firm back in August that this was only going to go until the end of the year. Let's play it.
Student loan payments pause is going to end. It's going to end December 30. I'm extending to December 31st, 2022, and it's going to end at that time. It's time for the payments to resume.
Is he now extending it to June 30th because he can't control court action on his loan plan?
Yeah, he has this separate effort, an unconstitutional one, to transfer $500 billion of debt from student loan borrowers to taxpayers. He is hoping the Supreme Court will look at it because appeals courts and district courts have been giving this a rough time, as they should. So I think now going back on his word and saying he's going to extend this payment pause is an effort to prevent a resumption of normal repayment before that court case, because I think if the resumption occurs, those judges, justices, who are probably not going to like the constitutionality or lack thereof of this plan anyway, are going to see that the world does not come to an end when you tell often well-heeled borrowers in a very good job market that they have to repay their student loans. A lot of this aid is going to people who don't need it, beyond it being unconstitutional. And I think the president doesn't want the courts to see these people being able to service their loans after all.
From the Wall Street Journal, the administration's unilateral claim of a never-ending COVID national emergency to provide sweeping student loan relief deserves to get slapped down as the abuse of power it is. So the question is, when will the courts finally act?
Yeah, some of them, as we said, have been acting. This is really, I think, the greatest abuse of this era in terms of just blatantly unconstitutional. We all understand that the legislative power in this country resides in the Congress. He has to get congressional authorization to appropriate huge sums of money. He has not done that. He recently pretended that he had, bizarrely claiming that he had signed a bill passed by Congress. It was a complete falsehood. That's never occurred. He's now relying for both the cancellation plan and the debt pause plan on interpretations of a 2003 law that was meant to help soldiers with their loans, has nothing to do with what he's trying to use it for now. And so this really probably is not going to be a tough call once it gets to the Supreme Court, but I think he does want to delay that day of reckoning.
To be clear, there's a cost to doing it. So far, $155 billion since the interest is not accruing on the debt. The latest extension to June 30th, another $40 billion price tag. What about that?
Yeah, and a lot of these people don't need the help. I mean, one of the sort of underreported aspects to this, besides all the other problems, is there were already a lot of programs in place for people with low incomes who had high debt burdens. There's a lot of forgiveness that was already available, and it was actually legal. So much of this, most of this money is going to people in the top half of the income scale. The progressives on Capitol Hill love this, even though it is not progressive by any of their definitions. It's going to well-heeled people, and it also prevents any reform of the system of financing college educations.
James Freeman from the Wall Street Journal. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.